This is Austin Frangulis, and welcome to Totally Transparent. Today, I've got one of my good buddies here, Ronnie, and just ignore my iPhone going off nonstop. But hey, Ronnie, dude. So I brought you here today because you do something super cool that a lot of people don't do, and probably never will in their entire life. So tell me exactly what you do.
Well, for a hobby, one of my biggest hobbies is to skydive. I enjoy it a lot. Mm-hmm. It's quite the thrill. It's expensive. However, it's one of the few things that it really makes me happy when I'm up there in the air and being able to fly around people you care about and people that you're truly your friends. So it's a good time.
Yeah. So it's not just a hobby for him. He's a legitimate professional skydiver.
I wouldn't say professional, but I do it. I do it for the Navy.
Okay. So. Well, how many jumps have you been on?
I've been on, which will sound a lot to you, but I've been on to 450-ish.
Okay.
So that's a lot outside the community. But
Definitely
inside the skydiving community, I'm still a baby.
Oh, man. Yeah. Or even at 450, that's just ridiculous.
I have friends of mine that have thousands, or they get to a point where they log it and they just stop logging because it doesn't matter anymore.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. So why do you skydive, or like why with the Navy or anything like that?
To be honest, I got into it for a job in the Navy for a time, mm-hmm. and people have their vices and their hobbies. Mm-hmm. I did that because it's the only thing that really makes me truly happy. In that moment you let go of the plane, you're in free fall. It's just that moment that is just surreal. Some people call it maybe serenity. I call it my moment with God.
Yeah.
It's just you're up there and it's just like perfect for that short period of time. You don't have to worry about problems or mm-hmm. complaints or people being rude or disrespect. It's just like so perfect for a short amount of time.
But yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So I've been skydiving once, and it's been quite a few years. So when you're skydiving, generally, how long does it take for the plane to go up and then the whole fall down and all that?
That depends on what type of plane, obviously. Okay. But let's say maybe 5 to 10 minutes to get to altitude, mm-hmm. and then when you jump, it's about a minute to a minute and a half, depending on what you're jumping or how high you're going.
For free fall?
For a free fall.
Ooh, yeah, a minute of free falling.
Yeah, and typically for tandem, most people get into a tandem.
Right.
Or 2 or 3 tandems. You'll jump from about 12,000 feet, and you'll be pulling about 6,000 or 5,000 feet, somewhere in that range. Mm-hmm. And then they have you under canopy, and from 5,000 down, it'll be a few minutes. But it gives the person paying for that tandem the ability to look, from a different perspective, point of view up there. So
now, when you're actually skydiving, you guys go a lot higher, or
it depends. Okay. I've been in up to 14,000 one time, knock on wood, not supposed to be, but we went up to 16,000.
Nice.
Really quick in Hawaii, but got down and
skydiving in Hawaii. That's awesome.
It was a pretty amazing event because at the time there was a massive thunderstorm over
mm-hmm.
Honolulu, and we were at Dillingham Field, and you're at 16,000 feet, and this storm is ginormous over you, and it just gives you a perspective how small you really are in the world. But that was that's the highest I've ever been, was at 16,000.
That's awesome. So I mean, that free fall feeling is crazy. I mean, that's literally what people, I guess, they feel scared because they have that falling feeling. But what is that feeling actually like?
So a lot of people try to equate it to a roller coaster, but it's nothing like that. And what it is you have what's called terminal velocity. When you mm-hmm. jump out of a plane, you only get to a point where you fall so fast. Mm-hmm. And it's the old adage: if you took a penny and fired a bullet, you drop the penny, that bullet and the penny would hit the ground at the same time.
You're right.
In the air, as you're falling, kind of lost my train of thought there. Sorry.
No, you're good.
What was your question?
So what's the feeling like when you're actually falling? Because some people feel like.
Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. But as in a roller coaster, when you get that feeling in your stomach, mm-hmm. that is what is pulling you down faster than your terminal velocity would be. So you're like, oh, that's a G-force on your stomach.
Gotcha.
When you skydive, you don't feel that unless you come from a helicopter, which is barely moving. Mm-hmm. As a plane, you're not going to feel that. So as you go, you get that straight feel of a thrill, but not that like scariness.
That's
the
awesome.
Scariest point is when people get to the door. It's that hesitation.
Oh yeah, like just going up in the plane. That's like
it's you're building more anxiety in yourself than it should be.
I'll never forget the time where I was going skydiving and they had us sit at the edge of the plane, like getting ready to go over. And I think that was the absolute scariest part of the entire thing.
It is. So is. And people again,
just thinking about it,
put more stress and pressure than it really is.
Yeah.
And you're more likely to go outside and die in a car accident or be injured in.
So what are the odds of something bad happening with that?
I don't know the actual numbers, but I've heard when I first got in until now, it's anywhere from you're 17 times to 25 more times likely to be injured or killed in a car.
Wow.
Than you are in skydiving, because there are rules in place that have to follow with your gear and stuff. And if a company doesn't follow that, huge lawsuits, loss of licensing, all that stuff. So the car, any Joe Blow just runs around, they trash the car or whatever, they leave it dirty and they don't pay attention to it, and it blows a tire.
Shoot, there's some states now allowing it to where they don't even have to actually pass the test to start driving because of the whole coronavirus.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it gets nuts. But no, that's so cool.
Why
I mean,
aren't you 6 feet away from him?
It's alright, it's all almost over. But yeah, no. Do you have any cool stories that have happened while skydiving, or anything crazy you think
I would
about?
say the coolest thing I've ever had besides the being at altitude with that thunderstorm is I was doing what's called a tracking jump in Florida. And we looked around, and skydivers hope when they can see the DZ, if there's a little hole in the clouds, you can see it, we'll go. If not, it sucks because you can't technically send people unless you're very familiar with the area. We get out and jump, and we're doing a tracking jump, and there's this massive hole right here, and there's like 9 of us that went out on this jump. Everyone went for that hole, and I look to the right, and there's a little hole about the size of about a house, and I just track to it. And as I'm tracking, I'm going into the clouds. The clouds are starting to come closer and closer, and as I bust through, it was like my Independence Day moment where I'm like, Elvis has left the building. Like, I literally come out of the clouds as they close around me. That was probably the coolest moment.
That is so cool.
I've ever had in my life. I literally said, I screamed, Elvis has left the building.
Just being in the clouds, that's unbelievable. I mean, I did it, let's see, about 6 years ago now, and it's just, I can't imagine doing that on a daily basis. I remember when I was done, I was so drained and so tired.
Yeah.
Just so tired. So, and then I don't know how people do it multiple times a day, or
you get used to it just like anything. It's almost like a muscle memory where you first do that when you go through a basic schoolhouse. You jump that high and low, you go home and crash. You're just exhausted. But most people who do it for fun or for a living get used to that, and it's just routine.
And you get paid to do it. It's
you can
crazy.
also get very complacent with stuff. You're like, yeah, I got this, whatever. I got the door, and you don't pay attention, and that's where people get hurt. And then in skydiving, you think you know it all by the time you hit 50 to about that 125, 130 jumps. And that's about the time when, as a young, arrogant skydiver, both men and women, you get hurt. You're going to do a toggle turn low and then bam, bounce off the ground or something. Like, you don't realize that in sports you get hurt. You lead the guy in football the wrong way, he gets his head knocked off, he can cover up, he can recover himself. But in this sport, you screw up, it could be life. Or I have friends that are partially paralyzed, and a friend of mine broke both his femurs because he downsized in rig and thought he could do what's called swooping a lot quicker, and just he's lucky to be alive. And he has a limp. He'll have a limp for the rest of his life.
That's
28
crazy. And it's just kind of being careless.
Oh, he was so good at the sport. He was so good at it, and he just, I'm arrogant now. I can do this. Yeah, I can do that better than you. And guys that had 1,000 jumps say, hey, you need to slow down, and then just literally bounced off. I have pictures on my phone where he has a double compound femur fracture here, and his vertebrae crushed. And the fact that he can walk, it's unbelievable. Yeah, and he broke his completely broke his hip in two right here. Had major surgeries. And he walks with a cane now for the rest of his life.
Now, do you guys have different parachutes than a normal tandem, or?
Yeah, a tandem is typically anywhere from like 370 square feet or above. It's huge. It's made to carry. It's almost
people.
like military style rigs where it's made to carry a sailor or a soldier or an infantryman with lots of gear so they can get down. So your normal civilian skydiving jumps, mine's 190 square foot.
Wow.
And it depends on your weight to ratio. So like if you're 190 pounds and you're 100 and let's say...
Don't be telling people my weight, man.
No, right? It's probably more than that with the virus.
That's what it is, yeah. That's funny.
Wearing all this baggy clothes.
It's the shoes. It's the
shoes, No, but you have to have what's called a 1-to-1 ratio. Like if you weigh X number of weight and your canopy is that 190 square feet, if you're 190 pounds with the weight of your parachute, all your clothes and everything, that would be a 1-to-1.
Gotcha.
Most people was get better in the sport can go up, can downsize, but they stay the same way. So like right now I'm 225,
Right.
I jump a 190. I'm comfortable with that. But if I drop down to a 170, the ground would be a lot quicker.
Yeah,
and
it's a different
any
feel.
toggle movement, any riser input, and even a harness input can dictate that parachute in a dramatic way. And
Crazy.
yeah, and it's a tiny. It's for me 190 seems tiny, but I've seen people jump 150s, 130s. There's a guy in Hawaii. He weighs like maybe 120 pounds, and he jumps like I think like a 70 or 90. It's like a trash bag.
What?
Yeah, and he's a cameraman.
Is
He's
that just
tiny.
to go fast or?
Yeah, it's super fast. I mean, it works for him. But if he jumped to 190, it would take him forever to get down because he wouldn't put the weight ratio in.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, what's the difference between like actually skydiving and iFly? You've heard of iFly, right?
I have
The
heard
indoor skydiving.
I've heard of iFly. I personally recommend that anyone getting into the sport get into some training at iFly, and it shows you how awful you have a depth perception of how awful you actually fly.
Yeah.
And as you get into the air, you have boat guys, team guys, whoever they are, SF dudes, they think they're sky gods. And then you realize once you're on this side of the curtain that once you're in the sport for a while, people are awful in the air because they have no perception of the sky.
Yeah.
You get in the tunnel, in any movement, you're touching the net or you're
Right.
hitting the wall. And like if you can control that in a 16-foot circle or whatever, how big that tunnel is, then you'll be a much better jumper or skydiver. But a lot of
That's good to
people
know.
have transitioned because skydiving is so expensive, as well as going to the tunnel. They just said, heck with it, I'll just go to the tunnel, and it's a lot easier on the body. And some of these people are phenomenal, and their ability to manipulate their body
Right.
and fly in such a small space with multiple people, head down, flips and everything. It's quite phenomenal.
That is
to see.
super cool.
So.
Now, you were telling me earlier how if you reach out forward, you
So,
go backwards.
Yeah, everything in the air is opposite. So
crazy.
if I push on the ground with my legs to go forward, I go forward. But in the air, if I push with my legs like that, yeah, you'll track forward. But if I reach to grab like a door or grab you in the air, I'm going to go backwards because the wind hits you and pushes you that way. So a lot of
wild.
new or younger skydivers don't realize when they jump,
Right.
they're not falling correctly belly. And
Right.
that's, again, getting to the tunnel, they have their feet up on their rear end, and it'll make them backslide. And a lot of injuries and negative effects in the air cause that because you have experienced skydivers who will go out and then don't know the new guy who just went out. He wants to go by himself, the first jumper. He's been backsliding the whole time, and then they're pulling lower, and then they wind up colliding into each other.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't want any of that to happen. That'd be so scary.
It's super scary, and within a second, I mean, I've made that mistake myself. I've seen two jumpers, what's called burble, basically one crawl underneath another one, and it caught my attention, and within a millisecond, I was already on top of a buddy of mine, and I hit him, and I was so sorry. You know, we make those mistakes, but
Yeah.
you have to be vigilant.
Right.
You have to keep your head on a swivel because you never know. It's that one person, again, that caught my attention for a millisecond, and he was already on me.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it can be dangerous. But as long as you respect the sport, keep your head on a swivel, it's the best thing in the world. Like I enjoy it more than like dating.
Yeah.
Because I don't have to worry about like, did you text me? Did you call me? What are you coming over? Like, what are we doing? Like, I don't have to worry about that BS. It's just like straight.
I guess it's just the weather that is
Yeah,
the only
that's
deterrent.
yeah, literally the weather. It's just it's beautiful right now. We get out there, it might start snowing and stuff.
Oh, gosh.
But that's the biggest downfall in this part of the United States is the weather, and the wind can pick up. The mecca of jumping would probably be Arizona, where it's hot, it's miserable, but you consistently get to jump when you want to.
Not as much wind, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you jump earlier, wind can pick up in the afternoon, but Skydive Arizona, those, I mean, some of the craziest jumps, and a lot of filming is done there for movies. Also Paris, California, and then the other place is DeLand, Florida. Those are the places.
That's so cool. So what's a couple places you've actually gone? You've mentioned Florida and Hawaii already.
Yeah, I've jumped in Pensacola, Florida. Shout out to those guys at Skydive Pensacola. Those they're amazing.
Yeah.
They're awesome. So it's
Be a fun
it
place.
was Skydive Panama City, SPC.
Yeah.
So, but there I've jumped in Dillingham and Hawaii. Probably the best view is there in
Oh,
Hawaii.
I'm sure. I can imagine
there.
just looking down in Hawaii.
Paris is California. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool because they have a whole setup. They have a restaurant, a pool, all this
nice.
stuff. But it's in the valley. It's real desert looking. San Diego.
That's
Let's see
sweet.
here.
That'd be cool.
Trying to think where else. Here, and yeah, that's the only places I've really jumped outside I can think of.
Still pretty awesome though.
Yeah.
So would it be possible if I can go skydiving with you guys?
I can definitely reach out, but we'd love to. We can get you out there, get you on a tandem.
That would be so
So-
awesome.
Yeah,
I say we make it happen.
I think we should, and maybe
Yeah.
I can get some lift tickets. And by the way, if you want to go jump, go out to Skydive Suffolk right there. Talk to Ross Phillips. Those guys can hook you up out there and get you a tandem. Especially right now with a lot of the coronavirus going on, just go out there and do it. Like, go out and experience something. You never know what the future holds for us, so go out there and enjoy it and have a great time.
Well, it's definitely been a couple years for me, but I think it's time to go back. So I say
Absolutely.
we go ahead and
Absolutely.
go make that happen.
Absolutely, let's do it.
All right.
Nice.
All right, Ronnie, we're here. About to skydive.
Skydive.
Dude, I'm stoked.
Don't die. Come on, you nerd. Weirdo.
All right, man. Welcome to Skydive Suffolk. How you doing?
Dude, excited.
Good. So how do you know this crazy dude?
Oh, man, from work.
From work?
Yeah,
Hell
sold my
yeah.
house.
Nice.
Bamboozled me.
There you go. You excited for your first skydive?
Second skydive.
Second
but
skydive.
Super stoked still.
Hell yeah,
Yeah.
dude. Awesome, man. We're going to go make this one even better than the last one.
Awesome, man.
All right, you got anything you want to say to the people watching?
Dude, hopefully I make out of it. I have life insurance if not. So,
Exactly.
no.
And Ronnie's
Yeah.
beneficiary, right?
Yeah.
All right, see you up there, dude.
Open eye, feel the waves cut through me. Hypnotized by the sounds I'm breathing in. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Dripping lights paint the skies, all because of you. Dripping lights paint the skies, only you can make me move. You can make me move. Can make me move. You can make me move. Can make me. So alive, make it last forever. Stop in time, yeah, I'm surrendering. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Dripping lights paint the skies, all because of you. Dripping lights paint the skies, only you can make me move. You can make me move. Can make me move. Can make me move. You can make me move.
All right, man. So what do you think?
Dude, it's awesome, man. Skydive Suffolk's so great.
It's insane.
Yeah, dude.
Number 2 better than number 1?
Way better, man. Way better.
Yeah, man. All right, you gonna get your A license now?
Oh, dude, I'd love to. This is awesome. It's so much fun.
All right, let's do it, man. All right, thanks for jumping with us.
Thanks, man.
You.